Welcome back to an entertaining and exciting high school playoff game in Class C2 here on All Red 99.5. Number 4 Fillmore Central 10-0 on the year, leading it over number 5 Malcolm 23-20. Malcolm's 9-1. Last time these two teams played, Malcolm dominated Fillmore Central in 2015, 42-7. Fillmore Central returned the favor here. By the way, that penalty did not negate the interception. It just brought them back. It was an illegal blindside block on Fillmore Central on the return. So ball at the 42-yard line. Here's Trevor Roach on the carry, and he's able to power forward and get about 4 or 5 yards. They'll actually mark that 5 yards there. 2nd and 5 at the 47. So, I mean, at least you get the interception. You don't mind really that penalty. I mean, you obviously kind of do, but as long as you get the pick, that's a big play.
Yeah, the clock is not running.
Here. The clock never ran on that play.
Yeah, it never started when the play did, so I'm not sure what's going on.
The referees are just trying to figure out what's happening here with the clock.
All right, and while they do that, this game is brought to you by Heath Sports Shop in downtown Crete, Plymouth Irrigation and Plymouth Electric, Wells Implement in Plymouth, Norris Public Power District, and Beatrice Community Hospital and Health Center.
Oh, the math is being done on the field currently. I haven't seen this much math being done on a football field since my high school homecoming game when I forgot to do my homework. But referees are surely trying to figure out what the time is here. 12 minutes is what the clock says right now. So, actually, Ron, was that the last? Wow. So, okay. We've seen it all. So they ran one untimed down to end the third quarter. That was the run by Trevor Roach. Now they'll start the fourth quarter after that run.
Okay.
So that wasn't even the fourth quarter. Now the fourth quarter starts.
All right. Well, wow. Definitely confused me. That's for sure.
So. Oh, there we go. So the lights, the lights were flashing for the start of the fourth quarter. The field lights, and then they completely went dark. And I was going to say, is this going to be another Super Bowl type moment where the power goes out in the middle of the game? Well, they're back on now. A little worried for a minute. 2nd down and 5 from the 47 for Fillmore Central. Now we start the fourth quarter. And here's the handoff to Trevor Roach. Powers his way to the left side of that offensive line and gets to midfield on the dot. It'll be a 3rd down and 2 coming up here for Fillmore Central.
Now this is exactly where Fillmore Central wants to be on these 3rd downs, 3rd and short, where you can run or throw the ball if you want. I don't know. I think they're going to keep it on the ground, see what happens here.
Yeah. We'll see. The 50-yard line is where they're at. They need to get to the Malcolm 48. 3rd down and 2. Stasson is under center. He's got 2 backs with him. And he's going to hand this one off to Luke Kimbrough, who follows a blocker ahead and gets the 1st down. He needed 2. He picks up 5. 1st down and 10 at the 46 for Fillmore Central. And that blocker ahead of Kimbrough, by the way, was Trevor Roach. Good job from him to be able to block for his running back. But this is exactly where Fillmore Central wants to be. We were talking in the break, Ron, how, I mean, one touchdown here by Fillmore Central would be a huge, huge, huge touchdown.
Yeah, it would make it a 2-possession game and make things really, really tough on Malcolm.
Stassonis gives it to Roach. Handoff, nowhere to go. Roach is brought down by the D-line of Malcolm. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain, luckily for Roach's sake. 2nd down and 10 here for Fillmore Central, and that's the Malcolm defense that we've been seeing this entire game. They haven't been able to really do it in the last few drives because of a few turnovers by the offense, but they finally shut down the running game for Fillmore Central again.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job, I felt like, for the most part, shutting down the run, but those turnovers have really hurt them here in this game so far.
Absolutely. Sassonis flips it to Roach. He comes to the near sideline. He's got some blockers. He gets across the 40 and tiptoes out of bounds. Did he get across the 40? No, they say he stepped out at the 41.
Actually, looks like they're going to get it right at the 40.
Okay, so at the 40-yard line is where they'll mark it. So it's a pickup on the play of about 6 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4 here from the Malcolm 40. Once again, like Ron said before, exactly where Fillmore Central wants to be on this 3rd down. 3rd and short. Got to think this is 4-down territory, too, since they are at the Malcolm 40. Not in field goal range, but they're not too close to their own end zone to not go for it. Two receivers to each side. Oh,
my
Stasinus,
goodness.
the snap goes over his head. He falls on it back at his own 45. And what was a 3rd down and 4 is now a 4th and 16. Oh, that is a... Actually, I think this is going to be a 4th and 19 here, excuse me. Either way, it's a backbreaker, and you had a drive going. Oh, and it goes right over the head of Stasinus. It was a high snap. 10 minutes to play in the 4th, and Malcolm is exactly where they want to be. They get the ball back, and they can go down and take the lead with the score.
Yeah, gonna have to punt it here for Fillmore Central. I think no question here. Man, that was a big play for the defense there.
Tough break there. Here's Cade Cooper. Boots this one high up in the night sky. Lands out of bounds.
That was not a very good punt at all.
At about the 30. Oh, so they're actually struggling to mark this one. They say it's the 30. Wow. Okay, so he looked like he was going to mark it at the 30, and then he runs all the way up to the 42. So we'll keep it here on All Red. 9:32 to play. The referee was definitely not too set on where that ball was going to be located here. The Malcolm fans were furious when he was walking to the 30. Now he walks back up to the 42, and there's really no complaint from the crowd. That wasn't the best punt by Fillmore Central.
Yeah, there's been a couple of other punts. I feel like they've struggled to get some distance on those punts. So that's been a bit of a recurring theme.
This could be a groundbreaking drive if they can score a touchdown here and regain the lead, Malcolm. 9:32 to play. Ball's at the 42. Meyer. No, he shovels this one inside, and nowhere to go for Josh Fox. The first time we've seen him carry the ball. He's actually going to lose a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Nice tackle on the play. I believe getting in there and making the play. Can't actually quite tell who that was, but either way, it's a loss on the play. 2nd and 11.
This game brought to you by Geneva Home Center, Weaver Repair in Geneva, Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, Weaver Pharmacy in downtown Geneva, and Geneva Milling Company.
Here's the handoff up the middle, going to that right side again. And looks like it's going to be Dalton Amen right there. Actually, that was Josh Fox, excuse me. Josh Fox able to power forward and able to get 3 yards. So it's 3rd down and 7 here. And we've seen this story all too often tonight for Malcolm. You make it 3rd down and a little bit medium, a little bit long, and then they try to throw it, and they've either turned it over or thrown an incompletion.
Yeah, 3rd and long certainly has not been kind to Malcolm here tonight, but you got a chance to remedy that here late in the game.
So we have a little bit of a development here for the Malcolm Clippers. Their running back 1, Dalton Amen, the senior, is limping off the field.
Wow.
So that is a big development because he's been having himself a pretty good game so far. He's been running the ball with a lot of ferocity. He's been putting his head down. And at the beginning of that game, or of this game, Fillmore Central could not keep up with him. Looks like we also have a new quarterback here. Carson Frank is lined up instead of Maddox Meyer. Frank takes the snap, rolls to the left, design quarterback run, powers to about midfield to get to his own 49. It's going to be 4th down and 3. And now, the biggest question of the day, you're only down by 3, but do you want to go for this here if you're Malcolm?
Gosh, I don't know. I think I'd punt here.
I would too, personally.
Under 8 minutes to go. You're only down by 3. I know that Fillmore Central is starting to get that running game going, but I don't know. I just think this might be a little bit too early to put the game on the line here.
Well, Zach Fox, the junior, checks into the game, and it looks like they're going to go for this. On 4th down and 3 from their own 49. This is a really gutsy call here by head coach Scott Amen. Remember, Carson Frank, the junior, is the quarterback. There's a flag on the play. This could be false start on Malcolm. I wish that we could have a mic down on the field. I wonder why Maddox Meyer is not in the game right now. He didn't look like he was hurt on the last drive. He's not in the game, though. There's a false start on Malcolm. So here comes the punting unit. And you know what, Ron? I'm not the coach, okay? I don't have any reason to say this, but I feel like that's a little bit of a break for Malcolm. Did they really want to go for it at their own 49 and not, if they didn't get it, they give Fillmore Central a short field? I think now you punt it away and you try to let your defense do the rest. But Malcolm's going to call a timeout anyways. That's their second call of the half. They have one remaining. Down by 3, 7:14 to play in the fourth. Fillmore Central leading at 23-20 over Malcolm here on Old Red 99.5.
All right, tonight's game is brought to you by Jefferson Community Health and Life in Fairbury, Members-Owned Credit Union in Beatrice and Lincoln, Cumberland Fashions in Geneva, Crete Area Medical Center, Wilbur and Friend Medical Clinics, and Smith Auto in Pawnee City. Learn more at smithauto.ne.com.
It's Alton Amen, who is just limping coming off the field, is now going to punt from his own 32. He steps up, boots this one away. This is a great punt. Fillmore Central didn't have any return man. This bounces inside the 15, and it's going to be downed at the 9. And now, okay, that was actually kind of funny because Malcolm, coverage man, came in and started kind of trying to shoo the ball, trying to push the ball with his, trying to get the wind to hit the ball, I guess. It was just a funny little play that they had there. It didn't work out, but it was a good attempt. Now the ball is at the 9-yard line for Fillmore Central. I kind of wonder, I mean, I understand it because you don't want them to fake the punt on 4th and 8. But you didn't have any return man, and now the ball went really far on your own end.
Yeah, that's a little. That was a little dicey of a call there, but they do have the ball back.
Yep.
That's the important thing, and now they've got a chance to ice this one potentially.
7:04 to play. Trevor Roach finds a hole, gets across the 15, or rather across the 10. Excuse me. He gets to the 13, so he'll get 4. Second down and 6. Under 7 to play, Ron. This is where legends are made here at these high schools. I mean, these kids, some of them are 18, some of them under 18 years old, and playing in a situation like this puts a lot of pressure on these guys. I know I asked Coach Scott Amen of Malcolm about it, and he was like, well, I've just been telling the kids to act like this is a normal football game, not put too much pressure on yourself, just come out there and play. As they give it to Luke Kimbrough, powering his way forward. He gets about 2 yards, and it's going to be a 3rd and 5 coming up here for Fillmore Central from their own 15.
Tonight's game is brought to you by AgWest Commodities, your marketing partner, online at goagwest.com. Lamel Plumbing in Beatrice. Building Tech, your Seco Building Systems dealer in Beatrice. And Creative Surfaces, your countertop specialists of Beatrice.
This game really coming down to the wire. Norfolk Catholic was beating Kearney Catholic by, I believe, about 19 points last time we checked in. Here's a run by Trevor Roach. He powered us forward. Did he get the first down?
Yes,
he got to the 20. He did get the first down. What a run by Trevor Roach. So first down and 10 at the 20 for Roach. But speaking of that Norfolk Catholic game, winner of this game plays Norfolk Catholic or Kearney Catholic next week in the semis. And the winner of that game gets to play in Memorial Stadium in Lincoln for the state championship. And how awesome would that be for any of these high schoolers to get to play there, where I bet they watch the Huskers play every week. And the Huskers have been doing pretty well, too.
They sure have. 3-game winning streak right now.
Here is the fake. Stassinis keeps it. Rolls to his right. He's getting chased. And Stassinis goes down at the 15. Or actually, he was able to power to the 16. It's a loss on the play of 4. Second down and 14 here. It was a play action, and Stassinis tried to bait the defense to the near side. Ended up trying to run to the far side. Just didn't have any space.
Yeah, that defense was having none of that play action. There was about 3 guys there pretty much the whole way. And really all he could do was just keep the ball in his possession and just go down at that point.
So 3 timeouts for Fillmore Central, 2 for Malcolm. 4:40 to play in the fourth. Second down and 14. When are the Clippers going to decide to start using their timeouts here? They're going to hand this one up the gut. There's a fumble on the play. Kimbrough fumbled it, and I believe Malcolm has it, and they do. Malcolm scoops it up. Another Fillmore Central turnover off of a forced fumble. Malcolm's going to get this ball inside the 20 at the 19 of Fillmore Central. Oh, man, that's got to hurt a lot for Luke Kimbrough because he's had himself a great season. He's a senior, second on the team in rushing, but
that's the third turnover now against Fillmore Central, and even though they're still winning the turnover battle by 2, this is certainly a big one that they just gave up here.
Looks like Maddox Myers back in the game. He's under center. Going to hand it off. Dalton Amen, the coach's son, powering up the field and getting inside the 15. He's down to the 11. 2nd down and 2 coming up here for Malcolm at the 11 with 4:15 to play. They're obviously going to try to hold them to 3, but I don't think that Malcolm would try a field goal here, even if they have a chance. But you got to think, if they get too close, does Fillmore Central let them score, try to get the ball back with more time?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've seen it happen before.
Yeah, I don't know how often you see it at the high school level, though.
It's a designed sneak. Did they get enough for the first down? Is there a fumble on the play again? Fillmore Central has the football.
Oh, my
goodness. You cannot make this up. Welcome to high school playoff football. Man. It was a QB sneak by Carson Frank, and they fumble it. That would have been a first down. Oh, and Malcolm, I see some of their players with their hands on their helmet. You know that's a huge turnover. Enormous.
That's their 6th turnover of the game.
Oh, you can't have that happening in playoffs.
Yeah, it especially on the road.
Yeah.
It's wow, that was huge.
23-20. What an enormous last few plays in this football game. 3:50 to play. Hands it off. Trevor Roach finding some space, but he got tackled by his ankles at the last second and ends up picking up about 4 yards. So it's going to be 2nd down and medium here. And Roach, if he didn't get tackled by his ankles there, he could have gotten a lot more on that run.
Yeah, I think he definitely would have broke that one if he could have gotten away from that defender there. But, man, this is just... It's all about ball control right now, that's for sure.
I know for a fact that right now Gabe Eberhardt is just absolutely just imploring that his players make sure to hold on to that football. With 3:10 to play. Handoff. Roach powers ahead. Doesn't get much more than that. He actually got met at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 here. Ball at the 14. And we get a quick, looks like Malcolm's going to use a timeout. That's their 2nd of the half. They're going to stop the clock with 2:58 to play in the 4th. And we'll take a quick break. Late in this quarterfinal action, winner to play next Friday in the semis. Number 4, Fillmore Central, leading it over number 5, Malcolm, 23-20. We'll be back for the remainder of the game after this on All Red.
Tonight's high school playoff game, high school football playoff game on All Red 99.5 is brought to you by Clausen & Sons Dirt Work of Beatrice, Premier Chevrolet Buick GMC of Beatrice, Discover the Premier Difference, and Starbuco Insurance in Fairbury.
Well, 2:58 to play. Or actually, they're going to put 3:03 back on the clock. Guess Malcolm called the timeout earlier than that. 3:03 left. Maybe 3:03 left in one of these teams' seasons, unless we might have overtime on our hands. We never know. 23-20, 3rd down and 5. High snap. Stassinis rolling to his left. He has blockers. He's across the 20. Trevin Stassinis across the 40, across the 50. He's across the 40, and he's inside of Malcolm territory. The biggest run of the game. Could be the biggest run of the season for Fillmore Central. Stassinis gets inside of Malcolm territory. There's a downed clipper for the moment. That could be the game-winning run by Stassinis. We'll see. We have a down clipper on the play.
It looks like it was Amen on that play. That's down on the field, number 22.
Okay. Well, he also came up limping earlier on in the game, if I can remember correctly. So,
yeah, I wonder if he didn't re-aggravate whatever injury he had earlier.
Well, as we wait for the coaching staff to attend to Dalton Amen, I mean, what a crazy, crazy play call. They go with the design quarterback run to the left side of that O-line. And Stassinis got a beautiful block by multiple guys. And Luke Kimbrough was the last blocker down the field. He set up a good block, too. And he gets all the way to the 35 of Malcolm.
Yeah, just a huge, huge run there for Fillmore Central. And now they've got the ball in plus territory at the 35-yard line of Malcolm. 2:54 to go. Malcolm got 2 timeouts left, so game's still certainly not over yet, but they could definitely use a stop right here.
Well, you got to feel for Malcolm. Got to feel for him, unless obviously you're a Fillmore Central fan. But they lost last year in the quarterfinals in their first undefeated regular season in over 20 years. They They come back this year. They lose one game, and then it takes them to Geneva, Nebraska in the quarterfinals to play on the road. And you have a big 14-0 lead, and now you're down by 3 with the season on the line here. Stassinis. Here's Luke Kimbrough finding a hole. Kimbrough inside the 30, and he gets down to the 26, which is 1 yard short of the line to gain. 2nd and 1 here for Fillmore Central. One more first down could, I say could because I don't want to jinx it. It could just end this one. I mean, what a comeback for Fillmore Central if they go on and win this one. Down 14-0, and they have outscored Malcolm since being down 14-0, 23-6.
Yeah, it's definitely been a second half, really almost 3 quarters in favor of Fillmore Central here. So they've picked it up here tonight.
Roach and Kimbrough in the backfield. Stassinis giving it to Luke Kimbrough. Powers his way ahead. And did he get there? I think he did. He's all the way down to the 22, which is enough for a first down. Now the clock stops, obviously with 2:04 to play. You only have 2 timeouts left if you're Malcolm. I thought they only had 1 because they did use a timeout earlier on in the half, but I guess they do have 2. So they have 2 chances to stop the clock here. Now, for Fillmore Central, you got to think this is 4-down territory. Even if it's 4th down and like 3, 2, 1, and Malcolm's used all their timeouts, you might as well go for it to try and end the game.
Yeah, kind of surprised that Malcolm hasn't used one of their 2 timeouts here, as they can take this all the way down to about 1:10, I think. So
yeah, they can bring this clock down a good amount. Stassinis giving it to Kimbrough. Didn't get much there, maybe 2 or so. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And Malcolm, Scott Amen, going to use a timeout. Their second of the half. They have 1 left, so they got to get a stop here. They really do. And they've struggled in the second half to stop the ground game. What a crazy game. Thank you for joining us here on Ole Red. 23-20, Fillmore Central leading it over Malcolm. Man, when you were thinking about this game throughout the week, when Fillmore Central won last week against Wilbur Claytonia, and we heard the PA announcer say Fillmore Central will be playing Malcolm next Friday, we knew it was going to be a hard-fought game, and it has been that every step of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, a lot of turnovers in this game, so if you're Fillmore Central, you can't be happy with the 3 turnovers, but the fact that your defense was able to force 6 in a playoff game, that's certainly makes up for those 3 turnovers on offense for sure. 4
interceptions in this game. That is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, this Fillmore Central team came into this game with, I believe, only 10 interceptions coming into this one. So they had a good season. Yeah, they had 10 interceptions and 9 fumble recoveries. Well, today they now have brought that total up to 14 interceptions and 11 fumble recoveries this season. So they have a really good defense. They can definitely get those turnovers. We've seen it tonight. They did it well against Wilbur Claytonia. They've done it phenomenally here against Malcolm. Now they just need a first down to end this one and go to the semis. Stassinis giving it. Trevor Roach running to the left side. They're going to let him score. Trevor Roach scores a touchdown. I don't know if that was the smartest play.
Yeah,
Malcolm trails by 9.
Yeah, I don't know.
29-20. Trevor Roach scores a touchdown. Malcolm didn't even try to tackle him. They let him run right by him.
Yeah, not sure why they did that.
I don't know.
1:24 in college football, that might be enough to come back from 2 scores, but probably not so much in the high school game.
Well, you got to think maybe they're just trying to get the football back and score and then get an onside. Here is the PAT, booted up by Gowecki, and it is good. So, a little bit of a development here. Malcolm lets Fillmore Central score. Nobody even tried to tackle Trevor Roach. They let him break free and score. Now, Malcolm trails by 10, 30-20. What a unbelievable job well done by Fillmore Central to fight back. I know last weekend we saw Doane down 20-0 come back and win, score 21 unanswered to win it and win their first game of the year. And now Fillmore Central, after being down 14-0 in the first quarter, they've come back and they have outscored Malcolm by a hefty total, 30-6, since they went down 14-0. And they're looking to make it to their first semifinal appearance in over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a game, that's for sure. And, Fillmore Central, I mean, what can you say? They they got their defense settled down. And, you know, they've only given up 6 points, as you mentioned, since they were down 14-0. And they got their running game going, got their offense going, got points on the board. And, you know, they've scored really the last 23 points of this game right now. So it's momentum clearly on their side, and they're not really showing any signs of giving it up anytime soon. So,
well, for all of you listening at home, can you believe it? We covered this team against Wilbur Claytonia. They were undefeated then. Didn't know how far they make it unbeaten. They had a couple tough teams ahead of them. Now they're undefeated still with on the verge of making it to the state semis. This one's caught at the 9-yard line by Cole Tiedemann. Brings it across the 20. He's across the 25. Spins down across the 30. He's down at the 33. Nice return there by Cole Tiedemann. The junior, 1:16 to play, 30-20, Fillmore Central.
Tonight's game brought to you by Match Express Food Shop and Oil, your Sinclair gas and diesel stations in Fairbury, Husker Rehab in Fairbury, Beatrice, Lincoln, and Nebraska City, Sherbarth Ace Hardware in Fairbury, Star Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning of Fairbury, Chapel Roofing of Fairbury, and Riverside Chevrolet in Fairbury.
1st and 10, Malcolm, their season on the line right here. Maddox Meyer to pass, steps up, pressured. There's holding on the play as he lets it go. It's incomplete. There was nobody in the vicinity. There's definitely going to be holding, and I believe this one is going to go on Owen Little, the senior right tackle. I mean, I was looking at that play, and this time I actually saw it as well. Oh, excuse me, folks. Maddox Meyer actually is not coming in the game anymore. I think there's a chance. I don't want to speculate, but he hasn't come in since, I think, late in the third quarter. It's actually been Carson Frank who's come in to play for him. Carson Frank, 184 passing yards this season. He is not the starting quarterback, but he is coming in a massive situation and having to go up against a really good defensive line for Fillmore Central.
Now he's got a 1st and 20 with 1:08 to go, down by 10. This is
and only one timeout, too.
Yeah, not the situation you want your young quarterback in.
Frank, they send pressure. He throws it out to Brixton Meyer on the far sideline. He's across the 30. He's down to the 35, and they get right back to where they started. It's going to be a 2nd and 9. Nice pickup of 11 yards there by Brixton Meyer. So we're not seeing Maddox Meyer come out, but Brixton Meyer is having himself a good game out in that running back position. He can also go out and catch passes, too.
Yeah, it's going to be, and if you're Fillmore Central, you don't really want to play prevent defense, but you certainly don't want to give up anything big either. So, going to be interesting to see how they balance that out.
Brixton Meyer, 2 receptions, 16 yards in the entire season. It's a low snap, picked up, and looking to throw it here is Frank. He lets it go. It's caught on the far sideline at the 49-yard line by Logan McGreer. What a catch. It looked like, he dropped the initial snap, picked it up, found some space, and threw it up for McGreer, and he still makes the catch even though there was a Panther defender in the vicinity. And that's the thing. I saw Fillmore Central try to knock that one away again, and he missed again, like earlier on when they scored that touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And, at least he got out of bounds, too, the receiver. Good awareness there.
56 on the clock. Here's Frank again, throwing it to the far sideline. It's caught by McGreer again, and he goes out of bounds at the 41. Or they'll actually mark him out at the 42, so it's a yard short of the line to gain. 2nd and 1, and the clock stops at 52 on the clock.
Well, if you're Fillmore Central, you're okay with them dinking and dunking down the field, but at some point you got to make a stop here pretty soon. So still 52 seconds to go. Yeah,
for Fillmore Central, this might be the longest 52 seconds of the year so far. They're just 52 seconds away from playing in a state semifinal. 2nd and 1. Frank the pass again. This time he once again goes to the outside, to the far sideline. He gets out of bounds inside the 40 at the 39. 1st down, Jake Walters makes the catch, the sophomore wideout. Jake Walters this season. So it doesn't look like he actually has any receptions. That's actually his first reception of the season right there.
Oh, wow. Great time to get it, too, in a playoff game when you need it the most.
It's only a sophomore, too, so he's still got a few years left here at Malcolm. They don't want their season to end here. He certainly doesn't. 1st down and 10 inside the 40. 48 seconds to play. Low snap. Frank handles it well. They send 4. Frank over the middle. It's caught. McGreer inside the 10. He's down to the 6. Logan McGreer, what a play. What a game.
Looks like they're going to spike it here.
Yep, looks like they are. 41 on the clock, but the clock stops because of the moving of the chains. Now it runs. Now they spike it. With 39 seconds at the 6-yard line. What a catch by Logan McGreer. And actually, Fillmore Central calls a timeout before the play, so this clock's going to be reset to 41 seconds. Wow, Ron. You just cannot make this up. Malcolm's not giving up. Carson Frank coming in, not even the starting quarterback, and he just threw a beautiful 20-yard, maybe 25-yard dot on that play to Logan McGreer, who's made some clutch catches on this final drive.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. He's kind of thrown into the ring of fire here, and he's, he's doing his best right now, I think.
Well, this has been just an incredible game. I mean, we are
certainly
absolutely honored to be able to bring this to you all listening at home here on Ole Red. I mean, what a game that lived up to the hype. We've actually had all 4 of our playoff games actually have lived up to the hype. And we had BDS beating Osceola by 8. We had a win, I believe. Clarkson Lee beat Johnson County Central by 4, I believe.
Points.
Yep, 4 points. That was week 1. Then we get into 11-man football last week. Fillmore Central taking down Wilber-Claytonia by 10, 16-6. And now we have another nail-biter here. A 10-point Fillmore Central lead over Malcolm. 41 seconds to go. It says 40 right now. There's supposed to be 41 on that clock, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, every second counts when you think about it.
Yeah,
Here we go, 40 seconds after the timeout. Carson Frank to pass. Pump fakes once, rolls to his right. Is he going to fumble the football? And Fillmore Central gets the ball, and that'll do it. It looked like it was a scramble play by Carson Frank as he had nobody to pass to, and then he got it punched out. I believe punching it out on that play was Hunter Lukes. And Fillmore Central recovers it, gets the ball back, and that should just about send the Panthers to the state semifinal, 11-0.
Yep, 7th turnover right there for Malcolm. That's what killed them in this game.
Yep.
That's what allowed Fillmore Central to get back into this game, I felt, was those turnovers and their ability to run the football.
Well, how awesome is it for the senior, Trevin Stasinus, to be able to take a knee. He never knows when his final game is as a Fillmore Central Panther. It could have been tonight, could have been last week if they lost. So delay of game on Fillmore Central. This isn't going to matter at the end of the day, but it's going to be a penalty either way. But now they're at the 4-yard line. As I was saying, I mean, Stasinus, he's had an amazing game, whether it's been rushing or whether it's been passing. He's really done a good job in the second half. And how awesome is it for him to be able to take a knee with 32 seconds to go in the state quarterfinals and send his Fillmore Central Panthers to the state semifinals. Malcolm does not see it fit to call their final timeout, and that is it. Well, Malcolm fans are clapping. They know their team has given it everything they got tonight. But for Fillmore Central fans, absolute jubilation and excitement. They'll be playing another week, most likely on the road against Norfolk Catholic next Friday. Let's see. Believe they're going to be playing Norfolk Catholic officially in the semifinals. So it's going to be a 4 versus a 1. 2 unbeatens. How fitting is it that 2 unbeaten teams will meet up in the semifinals next Friday in Norfolk? The final score here, 30-20. Fillmore Central defeating Malcolm. For Malcolm, it's heartbreak once again. They lose another close game. They lost an 8-point game last year in the quarterfinals. Just a nail-biting affair. And then here, they had a 14-0 lead. They blow another lead. They lose by 10 to Fillmore Central once again in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, just a heartbreak for Malcolm, but they played well tonight. I thought up until about the latter part of the second quarter on, they started turning the ball over, and Fillmore Central able to capitalize on those turnovers, and the fact that they were able to run the ball, which has been their bread and butter all year. That's kind of what led to Malcolm's downfall here.
Well, it is unbelievable to see how Fillmore Central bounced back from that tough first half. They went into the half trailing, but like they did against Wilber-Claytonia last week, they did against Malcolm here. They had a really good second half running that ball, and they end up winning by 10. So the final from Geneva, Fillmore Central 30, Malcolm 20. The Panthers will play Norfolk Catholic in the semifinals next Friday. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back one more time for our post-game show and our post-game coverage right here on Ole Red.